Captain America Civil War. Tom Holland's Peter Parker made his MCU debut in Captain America Civil War. Tony Stark shows up at his apartment in Queens, sits on the couch, charms Aunt May, then pitches Peter on the fight of a lifetime. Come to Germany, fight some fellow Avengers, get a suit upgrade. Peter says yes. The entire arc that would define Tom Holland's Spider-Man across 5 feature films starts in this scene. Peter idolized Tony. Tony saw Peter as the son he never had. That relationship is the emotional spine of every Spider-Man film Marvel has made since. Brand New Day still carries the weight of it. Peter now has no Tony to guide him, but the memory of the man is still shaping his choices. Civil War also establishes the political framework that Brand New Day operates inside. The Sokovia Accords, government oversight of superheroes. The idea that vigilantes cannot just operate without accountability. That premise gets developed into Mayor Wilson Fisk's anti-vigilante task force by the time of Brand New Day. Fisk is essentially the extreme conservative version of what Thaddeus Ross was pushing back in 2016. The world does not want unregulated superheroes anymore. Peter Parker is stuck in the middle of that debate. Civil War also introduces Zemo, who becomes the first villain to weaponize the Avengers against each other. That template of manipulating heroes from the shadows is exactly what Sadie Sink's character appears to be doing in Brand New Day's mysterious puppet master role. Everything traces back to Civil War. Spider-Man Homecoming, the origin story you actually need to rewatch. Homecoming establishes every important supporting character that Peter has now lost in Brand New Day. Ned Leeds, MJ Watson, Aunt May, Happy Hogan, Michelle Jones and her sarcastic disinterest that eventually turns into love. The high school world of Midtown High. The Queens neighborhood. Peter's normal life as a 15-year-old kid trying to figure out how to be a hero, all of it starts here. Brand New Day exists in the shadow of Homecoming because Peter's memory has been erased from everyone he loved. The people he built his identity around in 2017 no longer know he exists. Watching Homecoming now is watching what Brand New Day Peter cannot access anymore. The specific plot point Homecoming plans for Brand New Day is Scorpion. Michael Mando's Mac Gargan shows up in the mid-credits scene as an inmate meeting Adrian Toomes. Gargan tells Toomes he heard Toomes knew who Spider-Man really is. Toomes lies, says he does not know. Gargan gets left in prison to plan revenge. 9 years later, Brand New Day is finally paying that scene off. Michael Mando is finally in the Scorpion suit. 2 full fight scenes are coming, a winter street brawl and a night rooftop battle. Homecoming set that up in 2017, and Marvel has been sitting on the payoff ever since. Homecoming also introduces the damage control organization that shows up in No Way Home. Everything about Peter's civilian world was built in this one film. Brand New Day is the film where all of it collapses. Avengers Infinity War. Peter's first team-up with the actual Avengers. Titan. The mission to stop Thanos before he collects all 6 Infinity Stones, Peter gets his Iron Spider suit. He fights alongside Doctor Strange, Star-Lord, and the Guardians of the Galaxy. Then Thanos snaps his fingers. Peter fades to dust in Tony Stark's arms. Mr. Stark, I do not feel so good. 6 words that define Tom Holland as an actor and define this version of Spider-Man as capable of carrying massive emotional weight. Peter's blip status matters for every film after this. He was gone for 5 years. Everyone he knew aged. His girlfriend became a college student. His entire life reset. That trauma is still in Peter's body language in Brand New Day. Infinity War is also the film that establishes Doctor Strange's mystical corner of the MCU. Wong, Kamar-Taj, the Time Stone, the rules of magic that eventually get expanded in No Way Home when Strange casts the spell that erases Peter from everyone's memory. Watching Infinity War before Brand New Day matters because it shows you Peter at his most hopeful. Excited to fight aliens, making up superhero names, meeting his heroes, all of that gets stripped away by the time we reach Brand New Day. Peter has been through the death, the return, the loss, and the erasure. He is no longer that hopeful teenager. He is a broken young man trying to hold himself together. Infinity War is the version of Peter that Brand New Day mourns. Avengers Endgame, the 5-year time jump. Peter returns during the snap reversal. He runs onto the final battlefield and reunites with Tony Stark for one brief hug before the final fight begins. Peter gets to be a full Avenger for the last act of Endgame. He does the portal handoff of the Infinity Gauntlet. He fights alongside Captain Marvel. He watches Tony Stark die. That death is the emotional anchor of every Spider-Man film since. Far From Home is about Peter grieving Tony. No Way Home is about Peter losing everything Tony gave him. Brand New Day is about Peter surviving without Tony's legacy protecting him anymore. The father figure who defined his hero journey is gone. Peter is alone. Endgame also plants the Steve Rogers time travel arc that ties directly into Avengers Doomsday. Steve goes back in time to live his life with Peggy Carter. That decision creates a new timeline branch. That branch reportedly becomes one of the causes of the incursions destroying the multiverse in the current MCU. Brand New Day exists in a world where Steve Rogers' retirement is now damaging reality itself. Doctor Strange's magic is unstable because of it. Peter's mutation arc may even trace back to the same multiversal chaos. Endgame is the film where the current MCU actually began. The 5-year jump reset the world. Tony's death opened the vacuum that Peter has been trying to fill ever since. Everything Brand New Day inherits from the multiverse saga starts with Endgame's final battle. If you're loving these breakdowns, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. We've got more coming. Let's keep going. Spider-Man: Far From Home. The single most important plot point leading into Brand New Day comes from the mid-credit scene of Far From Home. Mysterio releases a doctored video that outs Peter Parker as Spider-Man. He tells the entire world that Peter is a murderer. J. Jonah Jameson himself broadcasts the reveal on dailybugle.net. That single reveal breaks Peter's life. His identity is exposed. His face is public. Every enemy he ever made now knows where he lives. Aunt May becomes a target. MJ and Ned become targets. Peter goes from friendly neighborhood Spider-Man to the most hated teenager in America overnight. Without that mid-credit scene, No Way Home never happens. Without No Way Home, Brand New Day never happens. The entire post-No Way Home landscape of the MCU starts with Mysterio's final act of revenge. Far From Home also introduces the Stark drone tech that becomes a major plot point in the deleted Happy Hogan legal scene from No Way Home. The London attack in Far From Home used those drones. Damage Control eventually tries to pin Happy for the attack because of his Stark Industries connection. That thread continues into Brand New Day because Damage Control is now embedded with Wilson Fisk's anti-vigilante task force. The organization that started chasing Peter in Far From Home is still after him. Far From Home is where Peter first tries to move on from Tony's death and fails. Brand New Day is where the consequences of that failure finally catch up to him in ways he never saw coming. Spider-Man: No Way Home. The direct predecessor. The single most important film to rewatch before Brand New Day, Doctor Strange casts a spell to make the world forget Peter Parker is Spider-Man. The spell goes wrong. Villains from other Spider-Man universes pour into the MCU. Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Sandman, Electro, Lizard. Then Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield show up as their respective Spider-Men. The three Spideys team up to cure the villains rather than defeat them. Aunt May dies during the Green Goblin's rampage. Peter loses the last person who knew him as Peter Parker. Then Strange casts the final spell. The world forgets Peter Parker exists. MJ does not remember him. Ned does not remember him. Happy does not remember him. Peter walks alone into the void. That ending is where Brand New Day picks up. Every character Peter interacts with in the new film is defined by whether they remember him or not. The trailer opens with Peter scrolling through social media watching MJ and Ned at college without him. The Frank Castle team-up matters because Frank has no memory of Peter to lose. He can be Peter's friend without the baggage of what came before. The mutation arc that consumes Peter in Brand New Day traces back to the spell damage from No Way Home. Doctor Strange's magic did not just erase memories. It fundamentally altered reality. Peter's body is now paying the price. Watching No Way Home again before Brand New Day is not optional. Every frame of the new film is a response to what happened at the end of the last one. The Punisher's special presentation. John Bernthal's return to Frank Castle in the upcoming Marvel Spotlight special presentation. This is the primer for the version of the character showing up in Brand New Day. Bernthal has been playing Frank Castle since the second season of Daredevil on Netflix back in 2016. 2 seasons of his own Netflix series followed. Then Marvel Studios brought him back for Daredevil Born Again in 2025. The Punisher special presentation bridges Frank's Netflix era with his current MCU status. It establishes what Frank has been doing between Born Again and Brand New Day, who he has killed, what he believes, where his moral line sits right now. Without this special presentation, Frank's arc in Brand New Day starts cold. Frank Castle is not a supporting character in Brand New Day. He is essentially the co-lead. Tom Holland has said in interviews that the film is really the Peter and Frank story. The two of them are on screen together for most of the movie. The behind-the-scenes featurette Marvel released on June 19th showed Holland and Bernthal talking about their big brother-little brother dynamic. That dynamic only works if the audience understands what Frank Castle actually is. He is not just a vigilante with guns, he is a father who lost his family, a soldier who came home broken, a man who decided the criminal justice system was not enough. Daredevil Born Again. The most important watch for understanding the current MCU street-level landscape. Season 1 released in 2025, Season 2 wrapped up in 2026. The show establishes the entire political environment that Brand New Day operates inside. Wilson Fisk is now mayor of New York City. His entire campaign was built on hunting vigilantes. His administration runs an anti-vigilante task force that is actively pursuing every masked hero in the city. Daredevil operates in secret. Punisher is a fugitive. Any new hero who shows up in New York gets flagged by the task force. That is the world Peter Parker walks into in Brand New Day. The city that once loved him is now being politically weaponized against him. Born Again also establishes multiple characters that appear in Brand New Day. Sheila Rivera, Wilson Fisk's political advisor from Born Again, is the one who gives Spider-Man the key to the city in the Brand New Day trailer. That handoff makes no sense without knowing Sheila's history with Fisk. Either she has flipped on Fisk, or she is playing him. Or Fisk has been removed from office between Born Again's ending and Brand New Day's beginning. Either way, the politics only track if you have seen the show. The Hand's presence in Brand New Day also connects to Born Again's ongoing storyline about the ninja cult.